Casino Guitars. Welcome back, Sean. Sean is with us all week on this.
That's me.
Johnny is still at the beach. You have to deal with Sean.
I miss Jonathan myself.
You miss him?
I do.
I miss him. It's been a few days now. It's getting sadder and sadder.
That's right.
What are we gonna do? Well, anyway, click like and subscribe, and the bell. And because Johnny always says the bell, so I'm just gonna say it now, just in memory of him. But we really want to start with really musicians still.
They do?
It's okay.
It is.
It doesn't matter what level you are, if you're a beginner or if you are a seasoned pro. We still make mistakes.
That's right.
And right now, with everyone having a smartphone, when you go see a fancy rock concert, they're gonna make mistakes, and everyone's got it on footage to post on the internet.
That is true. I saw a clip of John Mayer playing some. He
doesn't
doing a
mess
solo.
up. He's perfect.
It was pretty messed up. It was slow dancing in a burning room, and I don't know what he was doing, but it was in the wrong key or something. It was bad.
And that could happen too easily, like in a shift, like when you're playing and you're doing a show, and like your hands on one wrong fret, and you're doing your licks.
Eyes closed. He's doing his John Mayer thing, and it's like, ooh.
Well, this spawned from Kirk Hammett's Disaster. Ding 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 diddly ding ding diddly ding ding. He's playing his famous lick, but he totally beefs it, and it's not a hard lick. It's sort of like Guitar 101 when people are learning arpeggios for the first time. Unforgiven, all that stuff. But it was goofy, and then he stops. He's like, "Oh man, you guys are so awesome. I've messed up." And he does it, and he starts playing again. He sort of goofs a little bit again, and it's actually really cute because he's just a dude with a guitar. Like sometimes your hands just don't work.
Yeah.
And like we know that we all make mistakes, but we're being taught this weird thing. It's almost like looking at supermodels on Sports Illustrated, swimsuit issues from like Instagram now.
Yep.
I equate the same way because we see these Instagram guitar players,
Yes.
these TikTok guitar players that sit there in the room for like hours,
Yes, playing the same thing
working
over
at
and
one
over.
lick to get that 12 seconds.
Yes. And it's funny you bring that up on Instagram. I see the guys who do that. And you can almost tell in the way that they play the riff is that it's been done over and over and over and over and over again. For the perfect take, of course.
And that's cool. It is. It's a skill that
It is cool, yeah.
I don't have the patience to have.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do not have that skill, I will be honest. If you see me play anything on Instagram, you're like, man, Sean's not good.
You're lucky to see if you see Sean play like the same solo in his own song he writes.
Yes.
In the same key.
Yes, I'm tonight
"Damn,
I'm going to change it.
I'm just gonna jump in this pool instead. I'm like, okay, that's the solo. No, he's like, why are you?
I'm just going to wail on one note. Just hold this one.
Yeah, that's cool. But that's when I go see a live show. I want to see that. I want to see a little bit of the solo. If it's an iconically good solo, you just haven't written that yet.
Yes. Well, talking on somebody like this or anybody like that who messes up a little bit, I think it's kind of cool because all these guys are human, Maybe as musicians we understand that a bit more, but even as a listener, you should be like, yeah, that's a real life dude.
Well, it's
playing.
exciting too to think about as you're practicing because there's so many younger cats. Like and I'm saying younger, even like your 20s and 30s and 40s that are trying. Like, you're not really younger in your 40s. I was just being nice.
Old.
But when you are like younger, like you have this thing like, well, I gotta be perfect, and I want to get all these notes just right. And you get frustrated when you're practicing. Like that's part of practicing and part of learning is that you mess up, and it's okay. And even these pros, like it's funny to watch Slash like just beef up "Sweet Child of Mine's" intro, and he's done it multiple times on recordings. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know how you play it with all that hair in your face. Anyway,
I get that. Yeah.
He's got like a tunnel. He's got like a thing like that lifts up the hair just so you can see the fretboard. I think
It's tricky, Some of these licks and riffs, they're still hard to these guys who wrote them, Like
not the one Kirk Hammett was playing.
well, not that one. Well,
I'm gonna give a little grief for that one. But it's not. I mean, it's a little tricky, but it's not that tricky. It's tough. But it's funny because sometimes your hands just don't do it. Like I have days like where I'm okay at guitar sometimes, and then sometimes it just won't let me play.
Well, something that is funny to think about is 30 years ago, he probably would have done that and nobody would have noticed. Or the audience there would have noticed, but the whole world would not have noticed. You wouldn't see it on YouTube or Instagram or anything.
And nobody's really making a stink out. It's just funny.
Exactly,
It's humorous.
Yeah.
Like there's clips of like Bono goofing up singing. There's clips of The Edge goofing up playing. There's clips of Jack White just completely
butchering it.
Yes, and
dropping it. It's like
Or I've seen a lot of the guys that live in the improv world. They make mistakes. What's really funny is my mother is really she comes in the other day. She goes, Baxter, I really like this band called Fish. They're great musicians. And like, Mom, are you falling to the power of Fluffhead? And she goes, yes, I think I am. So my mom she's not in her 40s. She's older. I don't say her age because I'm a gentleman. But it's just funny to like see her discovering music. She had like a musical and sexual reawakening, I feel like, from Outlander and rock and roll.
Well, it's funny because like she went to the rock and roll and she was like into Kanye West and stuff like that too. We had a whole conversation. She's like, "Where can I listen to Donda 2 at, Sean?" It's like, well, let's get you a stem player.
She's huge into Tom Petty right now. She's really starting to get into Fish at the moment.
It's cool to see somebody, you know, as they get into more things like that.
She's like, is Fish a newish band? I'm like, no. They're from the 80s, the late 80s.
New to them.
You know, I was like, Mom, I went to Fish shows when I was in high school.
You played in a Fish cover band, right?
I know, yeah, they didn't know. Awesome. They didn't care. Like, I'm of the generation of your parents don't really care what you're doing as long as you're out of the house. That's Generation X. That. Yeah, you have sort of weird parents because your parents are my age, which is disturbing. But your stepdad is awesome.
He is awesome.
I'm gonna have his mustache one day.
It's great. He's like silent, and then he'll just say the perfect thing at the perfect time, and you're like, whoa.
I just went blank on the guy's name. I was gonna say Sam Kinison. No, that's the opposite. He's like he's the guy like in Lonesome Dove with the mustache, like the Marlboro Man. He's perfect. It's not Sam Rockwell.
He does have that. He has that. You're talking about like Sam Elliott, maybe?
Sam Elliott, thank you. I was like, Sam Rockwell's the other actor I love.
I was talking about Sam Elliott this weekend, so it's fresh in my
mind. He's like, you know, a younger version of that, mixed with the dude from Eastbound and Down. A little bit, because I love that dude. And what's the guy's name in Talladega Nights? That's his buddy in all the movies. Will Ferrell and whoever.
I just watched Dewey Cox this weekend.
Because I just watched a movie of his. We need to talk to Kevin or something. We need to talk about Kevin. Holy cow, that was not a comedy. But that's all I'll say. It's with Tilda Swinton and him. He plays like a romantic lead.
I'm gonna have to go watch it.
Dude, it's dark. I'm not gonna say what it's about because it's not time sensitive to talk about the topic of that. But I watched it because of everything that's going on in the world today, and man,
I need to go watch it.
It's a rough movie.
I watched Old last week. I need something to cleanse my palate
that
because
movie
how bad that was.
A flaming trash can.
I almost watched it again to remind myself, this is really, really bad.
I don't want to spend the time ever watching that again.
It blew my mind.
I felt like I wasted 2 hours.
I forgot that you guys went to see it, and you told me like, "Hey, it sucked." So I watched it.
It's so bad. Don't watch it.
I was like,
"What? Watches it.
What is going on?" That was terrible. That was a hot trash can.
Yeah, that's a trash can on fire. Not unlike my playing sometimes.
Yes.
Which and like when I record demos here, or Johnny or anybody does, it's we have this sort of rule like you don't get to stop, and if you put mistakes in it, that's the demo. And there's plenty of demos out there in Baxter's for the past few years of like doing demos here. There's some mistakes.
Yeah, you just make it work though, which is cool. You know, you're the guy.
I do the jazz thing too. If I make a mistake, I repeat it
3 more times.
Yeah,
maybe.
then it's part of the lick.
Easy.
Or because I like to run, I run in accidentals. I don't believe in accidentals. I believe all notes are valid. That's just what they used to call them. But when I'm playing a certain scale, I just whatever, man. If I hit the wrong note, it's like it's not a wrong note. I like to hit them on purpose sometimes. Sometimes I don't. I'm really goofed up. The only times we ever stop demos is when like a guitar just like will detune itself because we didn't check it or set it properly before we do it. Yeah. And we are lazy about that sometimes because I like to let the guitar work its course. But I had one where the D just like boom. It just somehow was caught in the saddle.
Yeah, it just kept going. Yeah.
I was like, "Yep, let me just fix this." And then once they fixed it, done. Magic slippery glasses.
That's right. But you know, I think these great real musicians who are still screwing up, they're still great. You know, no matter how many demos you slaughter. I mean, absolutely, just butcher and just destroy, and it just sounds terrible. I still think you're my favorite guitar player in this guitar shop.
In this shop, thank you. I appreciate that. That works because there's a lot of good guitar players here. Not really.
That's right.
There's like 2 of us.
Yeah,
3 of
you
us.
And Derek.
Derek is so much better than he thinks he is.
He is, yeah. I will say that. Like he'll like kick himself down, but no, Derek is. He's got like a flavor to his playing that's really
gross. When you say flavor and Derek, my mind goes somewhere else. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Beef bouillon, baby. Get ready for the stew.
Enjoy the suck.
Stew?
Enjoy the playing when you goof up too. Even like when you're making out with your girl or your fella like enjoy the silliness of that as well. The silliness are my favorite moments.
Yeah.
Like it is like I could get into stories, but again, I can't kiss and tell. But it sure is fun when it's funny.
That's right.
You know, it's and I like a good mistake.
Yeah, well, I think it's cool to remember too, if you're learning and you're playing and you feel like, man, I just suck right now. Hey, everybody messes up, you know? The best of the best mess up.
Stop comparing yourself to the Instagram and the TikTok guitar players. That's not a real thing.
They're not as good as you really think.
I mean, they are really good.
They are really good.
But never mind, they're better than all of us. But still, it's just not. I don't know. But where's the joy in that? Go play with some people, have some fun, make some stuff up, make some mistakes,
Absolutely.
make some kids. Sean, you're next. Just cursed you. And
Well,
the end of Sean.
I guess on that note,
Let's go
we're
home.
ready to go.
Let's go.
do this. Here we go.
I'm gonna go back to work. I think that's it.
I'm going to take a nap.
Siesta. Hasta mañana. Thank you.
There you go.